Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with.
Nerdarchy is dead.
Today we build the character build that Twitter demanded from the polls. You guys made this one, not us.
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So staff editor Doug had actually gone through this long process of polling Twitter to figure out what character build we should make. And it wasn't like, hey, what's your favorite class? Or, what races do you like? It kind of was, look, there's many pages here. And he asked a bunch of questions. And phase one was about adventurer's early life. Then it was about, the adventurer's race. And then it was about the adventurer's class. He would ask things like, did they spend their early days in pursuit of coin or cause? Likely to travel or stay put in their early years? What else we got here? We got all kinds of good stuff. So he also asked things like, where's the character's power come from? What does the character rely on? So there was all kinds of vague questions that maybe the people taking the poll didn't know what they mean, but I believe Doug had all kinds of arcane charts lined up to figure it out. So with that, we came up with a background, and from that poll, from the things that you told Doug, he decided the background is a charlatan.
So apparently there was more votes for, in pursuit of coin, not a cause.
Very much possibly so. But, I feel like there's some other ones that would have been into that as well.
That's true.
Like criminal.
Entertainer could be after coin.
Could be as well. So from there, he started asking about the race. That was phase two.
And the race wound up getting settled on Genasi, Genasi, however you want to pronounce that one.
I think it's Genasi. I mean, it's from Gen.
Right. So, but it was left to us to figure out which of these iterations of Genasi are we actually going to play with.
Right. So we decided that we would go with... Yes, we decided we'd go with air based off of the classes. With that, we went to the classes you guys picked, and Doug actually went with a multi-class build instead of a single class. And you guys ended up picking Artificer and Monk, which is a super strange combination, and instantly made me think of Batman for some reason. But then you add in the Genasi, and it's like Aqua Batman.
And then we add in Charlatan, and we're like, huh?
Yeah, evil Aqua Batman is what it ends up being.
So when I looked at this as the Aqua Batman, I'm like, well, do we have a do we have something that because he's playing two roles of noble and hero, that's the Charlatan aspect? I don't know.
Well, maybe like a dual identity. Maybe it could be. Maybe. So, all right. So we're going to go in a totally different direction than we've just discussed earlier.
Okay.
Based off of what you just said.
All right.
So this guy starts off as a tinkerer. Right. He set up shop. He's in a city. He's in a town. Wherever he tinkers, he fixes things for people. So we're going with the alchemist build for Artificer, not the gunsmith, because I think that the gunsmith isn't going to go very well with our monk build, for one, and two, I feel like there's a personality kind of building around this character.
Okay.
And he's got a shop. Maybe something happens. He gets robbed, or friends are being robbed, or maybe a crime gang sets up an extortion ring, and everyone's got to pay protection. So his regular identity is, I work at a shop, right?
Right.
But he's also trained as a monk, or he's been training as a monk, or maybe he just took some self-defense lessons. I don't know. He was born in Genasi, right? There's nothing you can do about that. But, based off of that, we're like, well, if we want to complement his classes, then we'd probably either go water or air.
Because both of those would lean heavily towards the monk idea.
Yeah.
And, we think, when we were creating this based off of the poll, it's like, well, we think this guy is more monk and he dabbled in Artificer.
Yes, and that's kind of what we're going. But still, even 2-3 levels of Artificer means you're pretty good at it.
Absolutely.
You know, with the skill set you get. So the idea is, you know, he takes on a second identity, which you get as being a charlatan, and maybe that second identity is vigilante. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to protect his business and the other businesses. He didn't want the crime bosses to know who was doing what.
Right.
So, you know, so he does this in order to protect the people he cares about. But, you know, secretly, what everyone didn't know is he had left the monastery, left an order, and he's actually a badass martial artist as well. He's like a freaking ninja.
He just wants to, you know, dabble and play with his things, but this, you know, crime ring had to go and mess things up for him.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe maybe something happened at a monastery, or, you know, in the faith of the religion he was involved with, and there was a schism, so he left, and he's like, I've had enough with it. Or, you know, or maybe it was an organization that required you to be celibate, and he fell in love and he wanted to take a wife. So that was his reasoning for leaving, but he's like, oh, I actually have to do something to earn an income and provide for my family. But he happened to be really good with his hands and figuring out how things work. So he's also kind of a tinkerer.
Right.
Or maybe that's what he did before he actually joined the monastery. You know, maybe one of his parents were a clocksmith or a tinkerer. Because I think, like, if you want to get the most out of this combination, you want to go artificer then monk.
Right.
So if we say, like, his first level was an artificer, and then, you know, and then for whatever reason he finds himself in the monastery, he has to take a vow of being celibate. Then he meets someone and he's like, I can't do this anymore, but I'm also now almost a ninja. You know, maybe he doesn't even tell anybody about it. It kind of keeps it a secret. Oh. And he goes back to artificing, and he's getting better at it. So he has like 2, 3, maybe 4 levels of artificer, and everything else is just going to be monk. Because at 4 levels of artificer, like, whatever they need done in the city or the town you live in, more than likely you can absolutely do it. And because it's based off your proficiency bonus, which is just going to keep getting better, and you already have skill sets with tools that you're going to get expertise in, you're going to be freaking good at it.
Absolutely. So now you said he's almost a ninja. So are we thinking Way of the Shadow?
Well, that's it. Where do we want to go?
Like, if we're making a ninja, you got to go Way of the Shadow.
You do, but I also my favorite is probably Open Hand. But since I called him a ninja, let's go Way of the Shadow, and this would also enter some complications later on, because what if maybe he had to sneak off in order to leave. And, you know, one of the reasons he created, you know, he has this identity as being the shopkeeper, because maybe the vigilante is kind of a little bit more closer to who he really is, and the shopkeeper is his false identity, and he does that to hide from the organization.
Right.
But at the same time, now people are messing with his friends and his family and his livelihood, so he's got to, like, secretly be a ninja at night. And he's got all these cool gadgets that he knows how to make and use, but he's also got super slick ninja skills. You know, so he's putting the smackdown on thugs. You know, he's totally like Bruce Lee and these guys all over the place. I think it totally works. Way of the Shadow Monk, you know, we go with Alchemist for his specialty as an artificer. He only takes like 4 levels. That's all he's going to need. 16 levels of monk when it's all said and done. We said he's a Genasi. I think we settled on air.
Indeed.
Which gives him a better dex, which is like the super stat. Everyone knows that. You know, he gets a bonus to con because he's Genasi.
You know, as an air Genasi, you're going to be able to hold your breath as long as you're not incapacitated. So as long as you don't go underwater and then get knocked out, you're fine. You can levitate once a long rest. And then as a base Genasi...
Yeah, you get a bonus to con, and you get to speak Primordial. Which is, yeah, you know, it's one of those obscure languages.
Absolutely.
That, you know, you learn from your heritage. So I think, all in all, sounds like it was really weird putting this together. But I think it would be a lot of fun to play.
I think so as well. So the question is, what do you guys think of our, you know, bizarre Batman-esque kind of build set up through random questions over on Twitter?
Batman.
Do you want to see these things, you know, done more often? Is it cool to have all this stuff? Let us know in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time, stay nerdy.